Hey, this is Chris Jericho, and you're listening to the Shout It Out Loudcast. They're going to give you a reason to live, make you feel like you're the king of the mountain, and when it's all said and done, they're going to dance all over your face. Oh, yeah! We got some good-looking girls! Oh, yeah!
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons.
Put that cookie down.
Kiss.
Stop pressing the button.
Stockbroker Simmons.
Star?
Paul Stanley. Is that what he does?
Stop shouting.
My name is Ace Riley.
He's not what you would call a handsome man.
Oh, no. Here come the kiss times.
Is that a positive thing? Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why? Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them.
That's what are you talking about? 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast, episode 299, 50th anniversary, hotter than hell.
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
That's
Love
right.
it. Love
These
it. Love
50th
these.
anniversaries are coming up.
Yep.
More and more. You'll be seeing them. So, But last week we had the incredible Izzy Presley. Don't call me Elvis.
It's the only Presley we're getting on this show, Zeus. Sorry.
I know. Jeez, I know. And he came on and we did a Paul Stanley 70s draft. That was fun.
Yep. It was a great time. And as always, we do the poll. And this one was a little bit surprising, if I can be completely honest, especially when you base it on some of our past March Madness tournaments. So the poll, as always, we do on 4 songs. Which of these is your favorite 70s Paul Stanley Kiss song? The options are I Stole Your Love, Detroit Rock City, Come On and Love Me, and Love Gun. I Stole Your Love got 43% of the vote. Detroit Rock City comes in second at 24. Come On and Love Me at 18. Love Gun at 16. I was shocked by that because Detroit Rock City crushed it the year that we had the Makeup Madness tournament. So I don't know. Maybe people.
I Stole Your Love has become the Mr. Speed of deep cuts.
It's good. It's not even really a deep cut though. I mean, it opened up.
But I'm saying
it's been on
like
live,
everybody. I Stole Your Love. It's becoming the they should open with that. They should have that again. Like Ace is the best solo album. It's become
what it's becoming.
Rallying cry.
It's becoming. It's like the one great song they don't play live, and they played it live before. So that's kind of. But you're right. Yeah. But let's get
that in Mongoloid Man.
Oh, jeez, Mongoloid Man.
Mongoloid.
Mongoloid. Let's see what people had to say about that episode here. Scott with 3 T's says,
okay.
By my calculations, there are only 38 Paul vocals in the 70s, excluding box set shenanigans. He says, so naturally by number 30, the quality is dropping. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a great little retweet there from Izzy. We love Izzy. We got along with him great back and forth on social media, Twitter, and he retweeted saying that it was a lot of fun. And of course, it absolutely was a lot of fun. First time we had him on the show, and anytime we do a draft, it's always a good time. But Zeus, let's hand it over to you for the Book of Face this week.
Yeah, and make sure you catch his band.
Ack! Greatest tribute band name ever.
Oh, he's such a character, man.
Yeah, love him.
All right. Over on the Book of Face, Bobby Kenner. Damn good episode, gents. The chemistry you guys have, longtime pals, comes through every time. Izzy was one hell of a guest, too. He was right there with the fun and debates and banter. You guys definitely made us realize how spread out Paul's 70s songs really were compared to the 80s stuff. I know this has been discussed many times, but damn, it makes you wish Paul had changed it up and added a surprise song here and there. And there's some on the end of the road shows. I don't care what Paul says. The crowd would have gone nuts for it. In my opinion, Zeus, keep doing the Vinnie voice. I lose my shit laughing every time you do it. God. Okay. They might be coming up soon, so you never know. Make sure that it comes up sooner than later. Otherwise, you'll be speaking to my counsel.
Oh, boy.
Litigious Vinnie.
Yeah, there we go. Litigious Vinny is back in the house.
With his dead dogs. That fucking whole thing is one of the most bizarre stories of a supposed rock star. He got caught with a fucking garage full of dead dogs. And he was like, well, I was going to bury them, but the ground was hard. And I had to store them until I could fucking bury them in the spring.
Poor Vinny.
Oh, man. Anyway, Paul Heider. Just listen to this back-to-back with the Gene Vault episodes, which really confirmed to me that after all these years, I'm still a Demon fan. I love most of these Gene tunes and would put them above a lot of Kiss 80s stuff, especially half the Paul-centric tunes. The best Kiss albums have really some varied type of music on it, which allows each member to shine. The 80s stuff narrowed the spotlight to Paul. Would have been cool if some of these type of Gene tunes could have made it. And to be clear, the original version of Kiss and Van Halen were the best. Better than all the rest. Love you, lads. Keep up the great work.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
Frank Anzalone says, another fantastic episode, more comedy gold. A lot of great chemistry with Izzy. By the way, did I miss someone drafting Magic Touch? No. That's a gem from Paul off of Dynasty. Oh, it's on the Dynasty album? Didn't know that.
We actually got a couple of comments about that. I think I had that ranked last when we did our Dynasty album review, but I know a lot of people love that.
That never seems to get as much as love as it should. Look, I like the song.
It's not
even
good.
Though he repeats the lyric fucking a million times. Yeah. I think it's a good song, but there are better songs for me, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's go to Loudcasters. Daniel Holler Houston. Izzy is everywhere. Unfortunately, he's wrong about Paul's solo LP. Very wrong. Also, no one picked Magic Touch.
See?
Of course, probably favorite Paul song. He even plays the solo. I admit that wins extra points from me.
Nice. Okay.
Dick Drip, who I believe is Mike H. I'm intrigued by the New England accent. The almost flippant way R's are removed from words and added where they aren't are words are very entertaining to listen to. Mike, you've been listening to us for fucking 6 years.
With 400 fucking episodes in. What kind of comment is that, you dummy?
He's been listening.
Christ.
He's been with us since the beginning. And now
he's
he brings up
commenting
our accent.
Dude, stop pretending that we don't know who you are like you're some stranger. God almighty.
Joey, I do 5-pound fucking curls and have no bicep. Romanek. Great episode. It is weird that there really aren't a lot of 70s Paul songs. The question about Kiss Live album, as well as the conversation about Paul's 80s songs, brought this to mind. Paul's 70s songs are seen as better than the 80s ones because they were on Alive and Alive 2, as well as double platinum. So they were always in our faces. But if Kiss continued that trend in Live album after 3, Alive 4, with only the songs of Creature, Lick It Up, and Animalize, would have had the best live album of the catalog. And would have solidified Paul's 80s songs are better than his 70s output. I'm telling you. Oh, by the way, Jason Rocco jumps in. Oh, absolutely. But what you describe is more or less Animalized Live Uncensored, which I said. With the exception of a few songs. And I always said that the show should have been Alive 3, and which I've said it's so damn good. So I agree with that. You're right. A few people have pointed that out. When you get into the 80s, it's Paul with a few Gene songs. Yep. So there's not that variety. And when you're getting Paul songs, in the 70s, those are about as good as they're going to get. Right. So Paul, although he gets in the 80s, he has a lot of incredible songs. There are some filler Paul songs in there.
Oh, of course there are.
Especially on Carnival of Souls when you get into the 90s.
I love that album, but you're right. I'm not going to argue with that. Paul's terrible on that album. Yikes.
Oh, and
he's unbelievable on fucking Revenge, but Carnival of Souls, yikes.
Unmasked. Oh,
come on. What?
Paul songs on Unmasked.
Oh, it's a fucking great album. And tomorrow
we're gonna fall in love.
Fall in love.
Oh God. Settle down, Eric Carmen. Whoever fucking singing that song.
Ooh, Eric Cartman? Shandy. Pew.
Shamu. Tonight, your fat ass
I was gonna say
belongs to me.
That's the rewrite about the fat chick that was Shandy's sister.
Shamu.
Oh, God almighty.
The double order stuffed pizza, fucking meat lovers pizza, is on its way.
Stuffed crust pizza.
What was that thing? Remember we saw that? It was the Super Bowl, and it was like Tommy Davidson from In Living Color.
Yeah, and it was like
fucking the commercials on every 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was like a pizza. It was like
the pizzone.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You couldn't stop laughing.
Pizzone.
Oh, the pizzone is in the house.
Dude, how bad is your career, Tommy Davidson, when you're pushing the pizzone?
Oh, God. Anyway, Tom, let's move over real quickly to YouTube. Colin 09T. More Ace and Vinny. We'll see how that works out. William Flower, 6824. Great episode. I'm with Izzy. I love Harder Than Hell. When Zeus said that's nonsense on Izzy's comment about Asylum, that was hilarious. I didn't hear anyone bring up Any Way You Want It. Oh,
that's because it's fucking awful.
From Alive 2. It's a short, cool song. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the great episode as always. William, this is what I love about music and Kiss and the podcast. No one here was thinking about Any Way You Want It. You fucking any way you want it. That's the way you need it.
That's
any way you want it.
Any way you slice it.
Either way, it's just that has the Journey songs has more of a likelihood of making this list than that song. But I love that people can have just different opinions. You love that song. And somebody like me would say, oh, I wish they didn't put it on the album. Cut that song off. They don't need it. But you would say, that's my favorite song. That's why you throw it all in and let the fucking consumer decide what they want to hear.
Yeah. And then we mock you.
Yes. Basically. Yeah. Tom, back to you.
Let's take a look at the Instagram machine here. Bulletproof Music 23, which is our buddy Thanos Akratides. Great show, boys. Izzy is a blast. Tom, how can you miss tunes from Unmasked? Well, I'll tell you, because it's an 80s album. And this is a 70s draft. We love you, Thanos. I don't know if the calendar has switched over there in Australia, but...
Tom, how'd you miss the songs off of Animalize?
How could you guys miss Harder Than Hell? Because it sucks. Not only a great Paul song, but a great Kiss too. Tom, happy you chose Come On and Love Me. Oh, and then Izzy jumped in and said Unmasked was 80, so it's not 70s. And then Thanos responded, fuck that right. It came out early 1980. Fuck my fuck up. And then Kev Bear 66 says, great show, fellas. I don't know if I've ever been called a fella before.
Hey, fella.
And this week was a weird week. We got a ton of emails, but not real episode specific emails. So feedback, thankfully, is going to be cut short, but we are going to throw it back to Zeus for one important comment here.
So comment of the week this week, and occasionally we do this. It is so good that we have to kind of change the rules a little bit. So this week on Dorm Damage, we did our annual Halloween picks, which you guys, if you know our show, you know Tom is like the Mr. Horror guy. And I always look forward to it because he always comes up with fucking unique lists. And we each came up with 10 different Halloween picks for this year. Yep. This is our third. And Tom had his number one as Salem's Lot. And that always has the scary image that we all remember is the little kid in that fucking windowsill floating up on the second floor and the windows open in the fog and vampire. Well, he put it up and he put a picture and he put Ace's head on the guy floating. So,
and he said, this is from the movie Salem's Shed.
You're not too far from Salem, right? In Nashua, New Hampshire.
That's right. So not that far over.
Yeah. So that is such a fucking. We died laughing, Tom. I think you were literally laughing out loud at work.
I was. It was fucking killer.
And John Whiteman, you are a pleasure, Patreon, longtime listener, a fan of ours, and we are a fan of you. So you are, my friend, this week's comment of the week once again.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you.
Love it. Love it, John.
And Tom, this week we're going to give a shout out once again to our Patreon family. Patreon is where you subscribe and help out the show. We have 4 different tiers. It's a monetary contribution you make to us. And with those 4 different tiers, there are different perks. Each tier has more and more as you go up. And our Patreon is still staying strong, steady as hell. And one thing I want to remind everybody is they're getting their Patreon gear from us. So the new tiers also have gotten now, the higher the tier, a koozie, guitar picks, shout out Loudcast guitar picks, shout out Loud koozies. We also have the t-shirt. We have stickers. Different tiers get different things. And I've been sending out to the previous longtime listeners and longtime Patreon family members in the past. The only thing is, ran out of guitar picks, had to reorder some. More are coming in. When I get them, I'll be able to fulfill the rest of the orders. So anybody out there wants to join Patreon, please do. It's a big help to the show. We really appreciate it. And we got big things and big plans coming up, and we need the support of Patreon. It helps us tremendously. And things like the polls, things like ARC monthly pick, things like input into the show, video chats, the message boards, the merch, obviously, tons of stuff, tons of involvement. And, you know, you guys help us out a lot. So thank you, Patreon. Really appreciate your support. And if anybody out there is interested and wants to join the Patreon family, go to shoutitoutloudcast.com. Right on the landing page, there's a link right to Patreon. You click on that. It'll bring you to our page and select one of the categories and join the family. Thank you to our Patreon family. And thank you to the next person that joins our Patreon family.
Yeah, Patreon, you guys are the best. We say it every week, and it never gets old because we can't be more grateful for everything that you do for the show. And I always say it, whether you're brand new, you've been there since day one, or somewhere in between, we are so grateful for everything. It doesn't matter what level you're on, what tier you're on. You guys are all super important to us, and we're so grateful. So please, if you've been thinking about it, if you keep hearing us talking about it and you're interested, go to our website, click on the link, or go to patreon.com and search for us and join the family.
We're going to go to Kiss News, and I know we got into it late last week, not in the news section. There's like this mysterious Vinnie fucking music stuff coming around being posted.
Yeah, there's a guy.
What's
so
that
about? It's the Vinnie Vincent Invasion page on Facebook, but I don't know who the moderator is. But Vinnie is doing something because they are posting pictures of meet and greets at certain events. There's a picture of him at an event. Yeah, he got a picture taken with Linda Blair, who has aged pretty well from The Exorcist. So he's doing meet and greets. He's doing events, but there's somebody else that's monitoring the page and posting things about this. Like this one I posted. It's like, in negotiation, Vinnie Vincent Jam Out Band appearance at a show in April 2025 in Parsippany, New Jersey. Hey guys, our Vinnie Vincent followers are growing very nice. More stuff coming. So I don't know. There is something going on. I don't know how legit or accurate it is, but we've heard this story many times before. Obviously,
yeah, it's one of the tightest cults there is, the Vinnie Vincent cult.
Yeah,
and there are just people that swear by him.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
You know, I don't know. I mean, if they get the music that they've been looking for, I'm happy for them. But you can't rely on them. I'm sorry.
No.
Right?
You can rely, I mean, he'll do these events, he'll do these meet and greets because that's easy money. But in terms of new music or an actual performance, I wouldn't hold your breath on that.
I'll sign your record if you give me a shovel. Me and my staff will be in the backyard. We've got to dig some holes before the ground gets hard.
Well, there was a little teaser post, I think, where he's might be his new guitar is going to be in the shape of a shovel.
Vinny, I'm breaking my back over here. You got to help me out, dude. I can't keep digging.
The only thing that's saving my life is the fact it's getting a little cold here in New Hampshire at night. So, in the summertime, these things were smelling awful. Now, it's just like a meat locker out here.
You can pile up the dead dog fur, and that'll keep you warm at night, Ace. Oh, shit. I'm going to be haunted in my dreams with all these, surrounded by these dead dogs. What the fuck? God. I think Gene is, preparing probably for a little bit more of the Gene Simmons band tour, which will be, he has some dates in the future. So I'm sure it'll be coming up.
Yep.
And he's doing his thing. Paul hasn't posted anything really interesting. I did see that Steve-O. I know we mentioned it last week. I did see that interview, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
He did not come across as like, then I had this ear thing.
Well, he can't with Steve. Well, the guy like Steve-O, he can't.
But you can tell Steve-O was like thinking of things to ask him. Like,
yeah.
Like he doesn't know, like, oh, you can't ask him about this shit. And Paul was pretty down to earth and very likable in that interview. If you watch it, you'll probably come away going, oh, see, why can't he just be normal like this?
Yeah. We say the same thing all the time. And I'm thinking of like, you have all the band members are alive and healthy. Okay. At least the guys from the end of the road and obviously Ace and Peter and Bruce. Nobody's fucking doing anything. I don't get this. Like, it's not like they're like really, really old to the point where they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand what's happening here. And I see these things from Pop House or from Kiss, online saying, the next generation's, 2027. Dude, that's fucking 3 years away. Like, Kiss is going to be the most forgettable thing by then.
Yeah. Well,
you
always got these releases.
It's just a weird strategy. It's just a weird strategy that, we say the same thing. We're 10 months since the Pop House sale and not a goddamn thing. And I'm going to keep saying it all the time because I just don't get it.
Yeah. And then Kiss Online released 50th anniversary Hotter Than Hell stuff, which we can get into when we talk about the topic this week. And that is the 50th anniversary of Hotter Than Hell.
Yep.
But there was something that was pretty interesting that happened just a couple days ago, maybe a day ago or so. And that was Angry Bruce came back, Tom.
Yeah.
Apparently 3 Sides had an episode on their show. It was just, I believe, Mark and Tommy.
Yep.
And I went back afterwards to listen to it. It was just a regular, normal conversation that they have, whether you like them or you don't. It's just nothing out of the ordinary. They did bring this stuff up. Now, however, Mike Branville runs their social media. So he didn't listen, he didn't watch, but whatever. He posts like the teaser for the episode.
Yep.
And the comment that he posts for the teaser, and let me just say, Eric Carr was nowhere near the quality of a drummer that Eric Singer is.
Yep.
Right? Now, I think, in my opinion, and that created a whole shitstorm. My opinion, he didn't do it to say, yeah, that's his opinion. I think he was fucking trolling Mark for saying something like that and making it like a joke that Mark would say something close to that. But people don't get the sarcasm or the joke in it. And it is, let's be honest, it's very clickbait shit. It is. And nothing that I wouldn't say to him if I talked to him.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Very clickbait shit.
Yeah, and
I don't think anybody's insulting Eric Carr purposely, but it's meant to be, I think, a fucking joke that he's shitting on Eric Carr because he loves Eric Singer. And then Angry Bruce comes off the top rope
Yeah, and I'll be just upfront. I haven't listened to the episode. So Bruce comes out and says, since my opinion is being censored by Michael Brandvold on his Three Sides of the Coin podcast discussion about Eric Carr being a much worse drummer than Eric Singer after I posted the comment below, I will use my freedom of speech to share what I wrote, and that was deleted. Yes, they can have their opinions. So will I. They are both amazing drummers that made a huge contribution to Kiss, but what do you think? Look at the clickbait title and my comment before you leave any comments. So Bruce's comment was, this disgusts me. Pathetic discussion. Shame on all of you that are involved with this podcast. I'm a close friend with Eric Singer, who is an incredible musician and extremely gifted drummer. To critique Eric as a lesser drummer is beyond wrong. I work with both of them. This discussion is just horrible clickbait garbage, but freedom of speech and say what you want about the drummers of Kiss. Your podcast has now lowered itself to new depths of ignorance, period. Now, I'm just going to say this quickly because I didn't listen, but I'm saying I love Bruce, and I'm struggling to understand the amount of vitriol from Bruce based on just that teaser. The teaser it says Eric Carr was nowhere near the quality of a drummer that Eric Singer is. It's strongly worded. It's clickbait.
It's an insult. It's an insult.
It's an insult. And I will say this: I'm proud of Bruce for pushing back and fighting back on his friend. But again, I didn't listen to what Tommy and Mark said, so I can't comment on that. I can only comment on the visual that was posted by Mike and then Bruce's comments there. So
a couple things. Bruce definitely was ticked off by that title.
Yeah.
And I think, again, Brandvold was being tongue in cheek with Mark and teasing him.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I just said,
that's your opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, but I said, okay. I think that's what it means. It's my opinion that Eric, that he was teasing Mark and put a clickbait title there to get people to listen. Right.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. That's what YouTube is. That's what you do.
Though Bruce has no right to be pissed off. It's their show. They can have opinions. We've done shows where we'll talk about guitars. Oh, I like Ace better than Tommy. I like Tommy better than Bruce. Whatever. We have a right to have it. That's not an insulting conversation. But if I was to say something like, oh, blows fucking Bruce Kulick out of the water. Bruce is fucking nowhere near the talent that's that. It's still an opinion. It might be a little rude.
But that's why I said, right. But that's why I said I was surprised. I understand that Bruce is very passionate about Eric Carr. I get that. But I was surprised the amount of vitriol, like strong word, like using all caps on certain words. Like that just surprised me because
this is the new Bruce, angry Bruce. He has no fucks left to give.
And again, I'm going to say this just for the record. Again, my opinion. I don't know. I don't know if there's a prior history between Bruce and the guys from Three Sides of the Coin where maybe
I think he's done he's done live auctions with Tommy, from what I understand. They're friends. So I think somewhere along the line, they took it as like, dude, what the fuck are you guys doing? How dare you insult Eric like this? Because also Eric Carr has passed and his memory and his legacy. He's not here to defend himself. And I think he looks at that as like, dude, you guys control a lot of the Kiss dialogue. Your show's very popular. How dare you talk about my friend like this? The fuck are you talking about? And I think that's what it is. But I think there's a lot of, I get it. Everybody's a free speech warrior. Shut the fuck up with everybody. Free speech. It's his fucking, what do you call it?
Oh, we've dealt with free
speech. Yeah. People are like, I can come on your fucking page and call you guys assholes. No, you can't.
We've dealt with free speech issues, quote unquote, on Shout It Out Loudcasters like Facebook. Like, go fuck yourself. Free speech doesn't apply to this.
And we're not saying this to Bruce per se.
No.
We're saying in general, the whole free speech part of this stuff. Look, it's their page. They can say as much great things or stupid things as they want. It's their show.
Right.
Okay. The way I look at this is Bruce has gotten to a point that he's not going to take any more shit. And he found this to be an insult to his friend, his late friend. And he's still friends with Eric Singer. And he's saying, like, Eric Singer probably doesn't want to be associated with you fucking shitting on Eric Carr like this.
Well, and it's one thing to say, and it's one thing to have a discussion. Again, I'm going to say it again in case anybody's just jumping in here. Like, I did not listen to the episode. It's one thing we've talked about. We've ranked guitarists. We've ranked members. We've done that before.
We can do that. Yeah.
So we can
albums.
So that's
solos.
Different. But this image, the language, Eric Carr was nowhere near the quality of a drummer that Eric Singer is. That's fucking terrible.
Condescending.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
you're making it sound like you're talking about like Joey Casada. Okay, I mean now he's nowhere near the quality.
How are you gonna make me put his fucking stupid thing in?
I know Joey Casada.
But
what I'm saying,
exactly, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
That's the thing, and I think you're right. Bruce is very passionate about his relationship with Eric Singer and Eric Carr, and sees that, and I get it. The way I look at it is, it's like a friend. If somebody posted something and said something about you or Murph or somebody and just use clickbait strong language, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? This is my friend. Like, what are you doing?" And
yeah, I agree with you there, Tom. But the other part and aspect of this is too, and a few people have mentioned this or posted or sent us private messages stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know the personalities, and I'm not about to start a big shit about this. But I don't. What the story goes is the guy Mark on the show is real close friends with Eric Singer.
Okay.
And constantly fucking pumps his tires all the time.
Okay.
And is always bragging about how great Eric Singer is to the detriment of the other two drummers in the band.
Yeah.
And I believe this is why I feel as though Mark is getting kind of jabbed here by Mike and saying, oh yeah, Eric Carr's no good as them, trying to get like people to get riled up against Mark jokingly. But he got Angry Bruce riled up instead.
Well, and the other thing he got too is he got another Kiss podcast talking about their podcast and having hundreds of comments.
Bless them. They earned it.
He got right. He got what he wanted. He just, I don't know if he was intending on pissing off Bruce. So
yeah, but there's a lot of there too, and we have no problem with those guys. Mike, specifically, he comes on our page constantly. He fights with our listeners. He fights with his listeners. Yep. He can't block our listeners, but he fights with them often too. And he's all over there. He's fighting with Bruce on other posts where people are saying, why did Bruce say this? And Mike's like, he didn't even listen to the episode. He can stop like crying and shit. He's not holding back. I'll give him that.
Right.
And they do get shit about like, oh, they only like Paul and Gene and the new band. And they don't like the other guys. I don't know. I don't care. That's their personal stuff. But I think this was kind of posted in jest to tease one of their members, and it kind of blew up. Now, you can go into the philosophies of, no pub is bad pub.
Yep.
So maybe it worked in their favor. I don't know. But seeing Bruce be Angry Bruce,
psycho Angry Bruce.
Yeah,
Yikes.
He wasn't going to put up with that shit.
No.
Interesting stuff. It's fascinating stuff. A little Kiss drama for a while because it's been kind of quiet.
Well, that was going to be my next thing. It's nice to have some heated Kiss drama because there fucking hasn't been any. So.
No, and again, those guys at Three Sides have been running their show for God knows 10, 15 years. I have no idea. And they still have a huge audience. So they're doing something right.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do I think they're really meant to insult Eric Carr? No, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't
either.
I just think this is just, we have nothing else to talk about. So it blew up and God bless them all, right?
Yep.
Let's take a quick little break. And if you hear a tap on your window, Tom. Tom, hey, it's me. Ace, don't worry. I'm not a ghoul or a vampire. If I was, would I have this saggy diaper? And it's full of Cracker Jacks, piss, and blood. Ooh, it's dragging me down. Tom, let me in. These ghouls are out to get me. Oh, come on.
Well, we're back, and just like in Salem's Lot, the minute you invite a vampire into your home, they can stay there. So I did not invite Ace in. He's in the middle of filming a sequel to Salem's Lot. Salem's Plop. Oh, jeez, it's a mess over here, Tom. This shed is really a mess.
Hey, Tom, I promise I won't bite you. I just want to sleep on your floor. That hardwood in the shed is breaking my back. I need to change my diaper. Woo.
The only good thing about turning into a vampire, these big sharp teeth helps me gnaw down those icy, things that Vinny's digging up. Lets me gnaw on them a little bit.
I was stuck eating some of the dead dogs. I've been starving. Please help me out. Yeah, you're getting knocks on your window, and it's fucking not the kid. Hey, kid, move over. I'm coming in. Hey, Tom.
Get out of the way. Hey, kid, show me how you float up to the second floor. I'm trying to reach Tom.
Diaper's holding me back. Ooh.
Oh, God.
These are the things I think about when I saw that video or that picture, excuse me, by John Whitman.
Oh,
like,
God
hey,
almighty.
Knock, knock, Tom. Let me in. Anyway, Tom, 50th anniversary, Harder Than Hell. We did one earlier in the year for the 50th anniversary of the debut album. Now, we reviewed Harder Than Hell. We reviewed all the albums except for one.
Yep.
And we reviewed Harder Than Hell, I think, the beginning of last year. So it's about a year and a half ago since we reviewed it. It's the 50th anniversary. Okay, that's fucking huge. Of a classic album, in my opinion. I'm sure yours as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get into that, Kiss Online did something. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so as they've been doing 50th anniversary merch because this was a big year for not just 50th anniversary, but just anniversaries in general. So they did kind of the same thing they always do. They did the picture disc bundle that sold out in 2.2 seconds. I was lucky enough to get one. Picture disc, very cool. Comes with a poster. Came with a really cool T-shirt.
What's it come with?
You can get the T-shirt separately, but you can't get the picture disc or the gold vinyl separately. You got it; those come in bundles. I'll say this: the picture disc, whatever. The T-shirts are really fucking cool.
You like them?
I do. I like them a lot because it's classic looking Kiss and they're unique images that don't exist. I like them. They have a T-shirt called "Strange Ways" that kind of has a group photo of them in that Harder Than Hell, that 74, 75 era shit, which looks awesome. They have a really cool.
So look at Ace in that photo. Look how poofed out his hair is in that.
Yeah.
I think there's horrible images of the guys.
No, I'm talking about the Strange Ways T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The Harder Than Hell one. Look at that Harder Than Hell one. Donna Summer's hairdo.
Yeah, that looks like a friggin' Dynasty photo or something.
That's fucking look at Ace's face.
Yeah,
his hairdo on that.
Yeah, but
Peter Criss looks stoned as hell on that photo.
Well, it's probably accurate.
But you're right. I'm looking at Strange Ways one with Gene above them with his wingspan arms.
That's a great shirt.
That looks pretty cool. Peter looks cool. Ace and Paul do too.
Yep. And then they had they did a hockey jersey, which is cool because they've been doing baseball jerseys. They did a Dynasty one and a Love Gun one. So I never saw a hockey jersey. This is actually really cool. I don't know if they're getting the idea from Jersey Ninja. That's what me and Zeus was saying because Jersey Ninja does some amazing Kiss hockey jerseys. So first time I can remember a hockey jersey, long sleeve shirt, hoodie.
Dude, Let Me Go rock and roll hoodie.
Yeah.
Who's wearing that? I'm sorry. That front picture of Peter. It looks like
it's the album.
Know who that is?
Well, it's the album cover. It's terrible.
In this and on your shirt. That is the most S&M hardcore gay fucking looking like club like band.
Well, the Harder Than Hell, the Harder Than Hell album cover is not great. So now you take a picture and it's one of those all over prints and it's black and white.
That's my point. It looks wicked,
it's bad. I agree. It's bad.
Yeah, it's like the fucking club where they found Fat Vinny from fucking The Sopranos when he's in that gay club.
Yeah, it's like the Blue Oyster and fucking Police Academy. Exactly. And then and then your two favorite items, Zeus. You want to talk about those two items?
So I like the little gold-plated trading card. I know it's stupid.
Comes in a road case. Why don't you tell everybody how much that is?
Only $350.
But it comes in a really cool mini road case.
What was my other one that I like? You said
the other. Oh, I thought you did like it. It's the Hotter Than Hell 50th commemorative patch.
No.
350 bucks. I feel like these guys are like those guys from like Impractical Jokers. They're like, yeah, make that 350. Like,
dude, there's no way they're gonna sell that.
On what? What are you crazy?
It's a limited edition.
That'll be sold.
No
they have
way.
the lunchbox was sold out. And then all the other items were previously existing Hotter Than Hell merch. They had like a Chinese fan, which I don't know.
Oh, you like the Kiss Hotter Than Heck T-shirt for youth?
I think it's kind of cute if you got a little kid that likes Kiss. It says Hotter Than Heck. I think that's kind of, that would fucking stupid, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Hotter Than Hell imagery. Like, I love that era of the band, but I don't like the album cover. I don't like the black and white. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of the Chinese symbols on everything. So
Japanese.
I'm sorry, Japanese, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Sorry. But I'm an idiot, so I bought the picture disc to add to my collection. But yeah, another disappointment. I mean, you can predict it now what they're going to do for these anniversaries: picture disc, T-shirt bundle, and then stupid shit like a $350 trading card. That's what they do every anniversary now.
Yeah.
And next year we have the 50th anniversary of Dress to Kill
in Alive.
In Alive, and you got but next year's another big anniversary year for a lot of releases. So we'll see. I know everybody keeps holding their breath, like, oh, Pop House signed the deal. Maybe the box sets are coming. I don't know enough about that to tell you if that's going to happen or not. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing: Hotter Than Hell, second album, come straight off the release of the first album, released October 22nd. We're recording October 23rd, 1974. So this is the one where they actually travel to LA, the Village, East LA, to actually record this.
Born in East LA. Sorry. Go ahead.
Produced once again by Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise. This is the one that's legendary, known for the like mumbled, garbled, grungy fucking production that some say takes away. They were going for the darker Black Sabbath kind of sound. Instead they got what people now say is their worst produced album, maybe in the discography.
Yeah, I think, and that's the problem, is that I kind of feel bad for this album because the very first thing that most people talk about is the sound of the album, and rightfully so. It sounds like it's shit. It's terrible. And it's too bad because there are a ton of fucking great songs on this album. And this is not an album I go to strictly because of the sound. If I want to hear these songs, I'm going to go to Alive. Well,
this is the comment we made on Kiss, the debut. It's a comment we'll make on Dress to Kill.
Yeah, but I like
a lot of these songs are.
But
the fact is the known versions of these songs are the live versions.
But me personally, I enjoy the very slick poppy sound of the debut and of Dress to Kill. It's clear, it's thin. I get it, but at least it's listenable. Hotter Than Hell, it's a struggle to listen to. I mean, you listen to like even the title track, it's just too murky and bogged down. It just sounds like shit. And there are differing reports on whether they tried to do that or whether Richie Wise and Kenny Kerner were having a hard time with the move from New York to LA and just didn't care enough or put the time in. But either way, I think it's a real. I just think it's a real. This album suffers unlike any other Kiss album in the discography, for me at least.
And we're not going to do a breakdown like we did because we did the album review, right?
Yeah.
So, but we want to kind of give you an overview of our thoughts on this. Tom, do you remember what your list was? Your top 10 songs and how you ranked them?
Yeah. So, starting at number 10, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell, Got to Choose, Strange Ways, Coming Home, Mainline, Watching You, All the Way, and Parasite. What about you, Booger?
I had number 10 to 1. Going Blind, Coming Home, Hotter Than Hell, Got to Choose, Parasite at 6, Strange Ways, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, All the Way, Mainline, Watching You. Now, for the rankings for the album covers, you had this, Tom, at number 11. I had this at 13.
Yeah, I think the only reason I had it at 11 was just because it is unique. It is makeup. It is kind of like an original concept, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. But I'm sorry, you have failed when you are making a black and white, which is ironic because the next album cover was black and white too, with
but it's different because they're wearing the suits. It was different,
right. But I just think and at that time the band was considered black and white. They hadn't yet turned on all the color and stuff. So I get that. I get that
silver and black.
Yeah, the silver and black.
Yeah,
and then for the albums themselves, I have this ranked 13th. You have it 9th.
So you were top 15. I was top 10.
Yep. And that's the thing. Like half the album, or maybe even more than half the album. I mean, these are classics. These are songs that were on Alive. These are songs that were sadly kind of drifted away from the set list, with the exception of maybe Let Me Go, Rock and Roll, and Hotter Than Hell. The rest of them, they kind of just buried them as the band evolved. They brought back Parasite a little bit on End of the Road. We saw them at the Manchester show right before COVID. I think that's when they brought Parasite back. But a lot of these songs never saw the light of day in terms of compilations or anything. We talked about songs like All the Way and Mainline. Coming Home was given new life when they opened up MTV Unplugged with it. But, a lot of these songs, Going Blind are also on MTV Unplugged, but a lot of these songs just kind of just faded away, unlike stuff, especially from the first album.
What sticks out to me now, obviously, is Watching You, and then the two deep cuts, which are Mainline and All the Way, which I love. Mainline is such a deep cut. Peter Criss, great vocals. He needs some loving, and he's hot like an oven. Yeah. And just in All the Way with that awesome, fun little fucking cowbell. It's just great stuff. We know we both differ on Let Me Go, Rock and Roll. But the big thing about this, and I think you can kind of go back into what's interesting. I think I can compare the first two albums from Kiss to the first two albums from Led Zeppelin in this manner.
Okay.
People say heavy metal may have been invented by Led Zeppelin, right?
Yep.
But they don't say Led Zeppelin 1. They say Led Zeppelin 2.
Right.
Hard, heavy rock, like the We're Used To.
Yep.
Was not found on Kiss 1.
No.
Was found on this album. When you got Parasite and Watching You, there's nothing heavier than that on number 1.
No, there's not. But I think
brought that depth and that, holy shit, this band is different. Yeah, they have the pop melodies. They can have the great choruses. They have good riffs. They can do the mid-tempos. They can do some stuff. Nobody was having those two type of songs. This was new to their band. Watching You and Parasite made them very different.
Yeah, and not only were the songs heavy, with Gene singing them, they were very evil and dark.
Dark, yes.
They weren't heavy like Zeppelin has heavy stuff, but Zeppelin's not dark. But this is, again, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep beating this drum because this is how I feel about it. If this album was produced, maybe not even like, the debut or Dress to Kill, or if it was produced like Zeppelin 1 or Zeppelin 2, just a little bit more treble, a little bit more low end on the bass drum, things like that, where you could really hear it and let these songs like pop and be powerful. I feel like if you like an old school stereo system, you turn the treble all the way down, it sounds like you have your hands over your ears or the speakers are underwater. The entire album sounds like that, and it ruins it because Parasite and Watching You are, as shown on Kiss Alive, the songs are fucking insane songs. And we keep coming to those two because those are our two that stick out, that are popular. But it's ironic, this one of the few albums where me and you always come back to the two deep cuts of Mainline and All the Way.
So what else is interesting, if you look at first album debut, two songs that you might say, well, wait a minute. Deuce is pretty heavy. Black Diamond became pretty heavy.
Yep.
What is the subject matter on those?
Right.
Right? That subject matter is completely different than fucking I'm watching you and stalking you because I'm the demon. And fucking Parasite. Parasite. And Parasite, although he's talking about a woman, It's, Parasite's like a fucking evil thing, right?
Yeah, it's not a compliment.
No. And when you think of a parasite, you think of something like, oh shit, you got a parasite? Fuck.
I mean, you think of a lot of those songs on there, like Hotter Than Hell is probably, there's not a lot of fuck me, suck me going on this album. Coming Home is kind of like a love song. It's been a month or two since I've been sleeping with you. But Mainline, we think it's about drugs. Let Me Go Rock and Roll is just an old school classic rock song. Going Blind, nobody knows what the fuck that song's about.
Ask Ahmed about that, and we'll talk about him a little bit.
That's right. That's right.
Thunderdong.
That's right. Yeah. It just frustrates me because I love live albums. I love Kiss live albums like everybody else, but I've always tended to veer towards studio albums. All my favorite bands. Metallica has a ton of live albums. Obviously, Zeppelin, Rush, Pearl Jam. All these bands have tons of live albums, but I always gravitate towards studio albums. That's how I've always been, and it kind of bothers me that yes, I can do that, but I don't want to with this one, and it sucks because there's a ton of great songs here.
Watching you, I think of Alive, and I think of Winterland. Coming Home, I think of fucking Kiss Unplugged. Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I think of always a Kiss live show. And I said, I can judge how good they're going to be by how good they fucking rock that song.
It's fair. Yeah.
If it's Ace or if it's fucking Tommy, more recent shows, if he's going nuts on those solos, the band is into it.
Yep.
And that's a good way to detect. Hotter Than Hell has one of my favorite breakdowns when the gong goes off.
Oh, I love that. I agree.
There's so many fucking parts of Kiss songs and the breakdowns and things like that, that if you heard just that breakdown version of it or the end of She and things like that, you're like, oh, I know that. If you were like walking around in the mall and this came on and that breakdown section came on, you'd be like, oh, that's fucking, what do you call it? But it's not part of the chorus or the fucking verses, but you know the breakdown part. And that's how good those songs are. But they really show themselves on a live. They really do. And I think it takes a little bit away from the album. So you're looking at 50 years of this. I think its legacy is really the introduction of a heavy, dark Kiss versus the first album. Oh, these guys wear fucking makeup, but you're not thinking of Gene as the Demon when he's fucking doing Kissing Time, right? But when you hear him on stage and see him playing Watching You and Parasite, you're like, oh fuck.
Let's talk about one of the songs that's really taps into the Sabbath shit is Strange Ways.
Oh my God.
Written by Ace, written by Ace, sung by Peter, which is crazy because Peter's songs are historically a little bit more snappy, poppy, upbeat. For him to, and his voice kind of carries it on Strange. That's a song that you like.
When he says, "You can set me free,"
yeah, it's incredible. It's a fucking killer song, and there are so many good songs here. But as we said, I feel like they don't have the legacy of the first album or even Dress to Kill. The songs kind of faded away after the years went by.
So again, this album fits in between the first three albums. The first three albums always different than the next three albums. The Alive studio albums versus the Alive 2 studio albums.
Yep.
To me, we're talking 50th anniversary legacy. The legacy of this is Kiss is heavy. Kiss is dark. They're embracing the characters a little here.
That's a great point.
Gene.
But that's a great point. I think this is probably the first album, and it's funny because it comes out only 8 months or 8 months after the debut album. You're right. This is when, I don't even think they were using the term demon at this time, but this is when you kind of
a vampire, a bat.
Yeah, bat. This is when you
remember
kind of really
you saying in Michael Douglas show.
Yeah. Well, this is when you start to really feel that imagery coming into shape. And you see
the Gene songs. You got Nothing to Lose. You got Cold Gin, which was Aces. Let Me Know. You've got Kissing Time, Deuce. It's a little heavy, and that's it.
Yeah, they're pop songs.
You're not thinking of the Demon singer.
Not at all.
He's just a guy in makeup with a various makeup singing these songs.
And then look at what he's singing.
Cold Gin is a booze song. That's nothing to do with his character.
Right, and then look at what he's singing on Hotter Than Hell.
Exactly.
You know, Going Blind, Watching You, Parasite, All the Way. I mean, Let Me Go Rock and Roll is just a rock standard. But those, those, even no one still knows what he's talking about on Going Blind. But that's like first of all, the song is heavy, slow, plodding, dark, down-tuned. And he's talking about like, I'm 93, you're 16. Like, what the fuck, dude? And then, again, the nastiness of Parasite and Watching You. And All the Way is it's got some pop sensibility to it. But you're starting to really feel that there's an image with this guy.
Yeah. And you've got a different, like, I'm just trying to think of, for 50th anniversary, what is the legacy of this album? You obviously have the cover and the crazy photo shoot that went on with this.
I really think, for me, unfortunately,
they're starting to embrace Japanese themes too, and becoming part of that kabuki thing, bringing that in, the Japanese culture, and becoming a darling for Japan. These are things that started with this album.
I agree. Those are great points. I agree. But for me, I'll say it again. The legacy for this album for me is the just unhappiness with the sound. I think that's it. The most diehard fan is going to say, I love Harder Than Hell, but now there are other people like Izzy there are other people that love this album and embrace that shit sound. But a lot of people say, I love Harder Than Hell.
It's not that important to me. I honestly, I mean, I can tell it's not as good.
Right.
The songs have nothing to do with it. I think they're fine, especially since most of them are live. To me, when I think of this album, it occurs to me about the sound, but that's not this. To me, the legacy of this band. It's
dark. It's a dark fucking album.
Turning the corner and being a hard rock band and being able to pull off darker material and starting to develop the characters. Starting to get into that shit.
I agree. It's definitely a pivot from the first album for sure.
Yeah. And as the band will continue to get more and more of these 50th anniversaries, we're going to be looking back on all these albums on 50th anniversary because it's important. And these are, I hope more people will go back, purchase the album, buy, merch, embrace them, and celebrate these albums, because I mean it's one of those things that there are 50th anniversaries. We're not going to be around for the next one, which will be the 100th anniversary, so embrace this 50th one.
And another way to celebrate these albums, pick up Raise Your Glasses and read about these songs. Read about what celebrities and other musicians and how they feel about these songs, and if they share the sentiments that we just shared right here.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. You can pick up and listen to Hotter Than Hell and read all the comments about all the songs. Pick up little nuances about each song by different celebrities, rock musicians, comedians, wrestlers, podcasters, you name it. And by the way, one other little quick programming note. We were invited back to Amit's great show, Rock Tales. I believe it'll be debuting yesterday, since this episode is dropping Saturday. And we talked about the 50th anniversary. Amit brought us on to talk a little bit Kiss. He is such a Kiss fan.
Oh my God.
We were there with Brando, Richard, who is just such a great guy and big listener, fan, and vice versa. We are of him as well. Of this show, and now Amit, he loves us and we love him, man. He is about as funny as can be. We had a fucking blast, and we're his go-to Kiss guys, and we get into it a little bit about this shit, but it was a lot of fun, and it
was a blast.
I think a lot of drinking too.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a lot of drinking, and I was drinking.
Yeah, so check out that Rock Tales, another part of the Hotter Than Hell celebration, and let us know what you think about the 50th anniversary of Hotter Than Hell. But until then, Tom, let's go to question of the week.
Yep, we got one here. This comes from Mark. Simple question here. We don't get a lot of these. Simple yes or no. You can kind of embellish if you want. With the band officially retired, will anybody write another book?
Oh, absolutely. Paul Stanley cannot hold his opinions to himself.
Really?
I think Paul's going to do one of these fucking, I know everything.
Do you think it'll be Kiss-centric?
No, he'll throw a couple Kiss things in there just to some people, but it'll be about soul, his love of soul music, what painting means to him, and something like that.
So I definitely agree with Paul, but I think maybe this is wishful thinking. I really, really, really want Bruce to write a book. I really want him to write a book.
It's not going to be like he's not.
It won't be. I don't think so either. The other one who might write a book would be Gene.
Tommy.
That was my next thing. But I feel it. So here's the thing about a book by Tommy. It could go either way. It could be very paint by numbers, cut and paste. I had a great time. These guys are awesome. Or it could be arguably the best Kiss book because of his involvement with the band way back, his involvement with the band during the reunion tour, and obviously moving forward all the way into the end of the road. So that has the potential to be a fantastic book if he'll do it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I don't think Eric Singer will ever do a book.
And if he does, it'll be about that midget Western movie that he likes. But anyways, great question. Thank you so much. Let's keep our eyes peeled. Maybe there will be a Kiss book down the road that's not called Raise Your Glasses. Hint, hint.
Won't be as good. So, Tom, where can people find us?
Go to our website, shoutoutloudcast.com. That's where you can find everything. Right on the landing page there, there's a link to buy our book, Raise Your Glasses. It'll take you to the Amazon link. All the information about the book, you can buy that there. But you click on there, you can find all of our episodes, Shout It Out Loudcast, Dome Damage, Album Review Crew, Zeppelin Chronicles, links to our Amazon shopping page, links to our Shout It Out Loudcast merch, Patreon, all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, so much more. It's your one-stop shopping for all things Shout It Out Loudcast, so please do that. And if you want your question of the week read, you can comment on our website, on our social media, or you can use our email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We read each and every email that we get. Sometimes we don't get to all of them during the show, but please continue to reach out there. And of course, follow us and get social with us. And we have our Shout It Out Loudcasters group. So please do that. So we're out there, always involved, always talking Kiss and other stupid shit. So please be a part of that. And we always like to say that we are a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Tom, people can DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, motherfucker. You wish you could say that shit too. Check out our Spotify playlist by going to our profile on Spotify, not the podcast. And there you can find our different playlists. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's always a big help. If you listen to us there or catch anything there, subscribe too. It's a big help. Give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcast, and make sure you go to Amazon and give us a 5-star review on our book, Raise Your Glasses. And probably by the time you read this, we'll be at the magic number of 100. But we want to get to 500. So keep actually giving us 5-star reviews there. It's much appreciated. Anyway, and Tom, what we always like to do is end on famous last words. Do you have any?
You're wearing clothes that fit you well. Baby, you are not hard to sell. I'll tell you what you want to hear for a day.
Okay. On the very first episode, Tom, we ever did, this was the first famous last words I picked.
Do it.
You know that it's easy, so come on and please me. I want you. I need some loving. No,
I remember this.
I'm needing some loving. I'm hot like an oven. It's so true.
Oh my God. Wow.
Fan-fucking-tastic, right?
Yep.
Tom, Kiss Army, Loudcasters, everybody out there, thank you.
Guys, you're the best. Thank you so much. Patreon, Loudcasters, everybody. Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide kiss-tards to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down. Cut the music.
Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?